going to dive into what are the qualities of champions.
What are the qualities of champion athletes? And I think that absolutely translates into being a successful small business owner or entrepreneur. If you want to be a successful business owner or entrepreneur, the qualities and attributes that champion athletes have will 9 times out of 10 translate into success with business. So number one, they talk about composure, poise, and presence. Who do you think about in terms of a champion athlete when you think of composure, poise, and presence?
Tom Brady.
Right?
No doubt.
I mean, you think about that Super Bowl against Atlanta, and if you guys saw the 80 for Brady, my wife was watching it on the airplane when we were flying to Orlando, and I was watching. It was just kind of a funny movie. Even just watching without the audio was funny. But, I mean, when you're down 28-3 in the Super Bowl and you've worked the entire year to get there, it's pretty easy to get down on yourself, and every other person in that position in every Super Bowl did and never came back. But Tom was calm, he was poised, he focused on the solutions, brought the team together, and the most amazing comeback I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's crazy is you go back and look at clips, and his face on the sideline never changes. Like it's that stone cold, holy crap, this guy's actually going to win this game face the whole time. And I love that guy. I miss him.
Oh,
Same
man.
with Michael,
Amazing.
though. Same with Michael. You think of him when he's about to go take a game-winning shot, he's got that look like we're about to win this game.
In the zone.
Yeah.
Tim Grover calls it in the zone. All right, number 2, confidence in self. Champions believe in their capabilities. They're confident. They don't ever believe that they're out of a game, out of a series, out of a season. They always believe that they can come back. And that type of unreasonably optimistic belief is something that you see in champions.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't go too far.
Yeah. Now, when it goes so far that it's like beyond reality, then that can become problematic, which also at times can happen. Like a guy who actually probably should retire and didn't, still thinks their skills are up there, and like, no, bro, your skills have deteriorated. It's probably time to move on. And so there's that issue too. Eternal hope, same thing, I think. Pacing, skills. You know, what I think about pacing, I think about what's the Argentine Messi. I think of Messi in the World Cup, where he really focused on saving his energy up for the right spots, and then the right spots turned into 2 massive goals and a World Cup win. But you didn't see him out there, giving 110% on every play. He was just very focused and smart where he was going to implement his skill set and take advantage where he could, and then kind of wait for the next opportunity. So pacing, skills, anyone you think of with that?
Yeah, you see that a lot in the NBA too. Like coaches, I think the best coaches out there, like an Eric Spoelstra, know exactly what limit their stars can be pushed to and when to rest them and when not, and strategically having them sit out even when the players are so upset because they want to stay in that spotlight. So I see, the greatest coaches of all time being really, really good at that.
Control factor awareness, that's huge. And this is true as if you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur. Things can go bad, and there are some things that you can't control, and then you spend all this time getting stressed out about all these things you can't control instead of focusing laser focused on the things that you can control, which I believe is it's a quality, it's a principle that champions have, and great entrepreneurs have it as well. They focus on what they can control. All right, then we've got self-awareness and the ability to learn. Self-awareness, knowing what you're good at, the ability to learn. They're constantly learning.
This is another Tom Brady one. Like that, this guy has written a book on his self-awareness and what he does for his body and for his mind, right? His crazy diet. They've created these vibrating muscle rollers that are just for Tom Brady. Like self-awareness, that the greatest athletes out there are so in tune with their body and their mind and how to take care of them and how to treat them. And so, again, it keeps coming back to Tom or Michael and his workout routines. Like the greatest of all time do that.
You're looking for an edge. Where can I get an edge? Where can I learn something that the competition doesn't know about? And pliability was one of those things that Tom Brady used, and still most people don't know what it's all about, but basically it's a form of massage. And if you have this vibrating roller, and he had a guy who would basically work on his muscles and teach them how to react in stressful situations. And that's why he was able to play at a high level up until age 45. And I can tell you, if I don't use one of Tom Brady's pliability rollers on a daily basis, my ankles will be tight, my legs will be messed up. And so it's really, really powerful. And just another example of getting that extra edge. We've got coachability is important, always improving, around great coaches, strong work ethic. This is a given. But a lot of people lie to themselves about the strong work ethic. How do you feel like they do that? And why do they do that? Why is it so hard to be real about your work ethic?
I think sometimes you see with like leaders in the business field or professional athletes, they feel like they've reached that point. I've put in enough time. I've worked on my self-awareness. I've been coachable. I know all I can know, and now it's just time to go perform. And you see them fall off, right? You look at the people who started and finished as the greatest of all time, the Tom Brady's, the Michael Jordans. They were doing these 10 things to the very end. Whereas you look at someone like a Tiger Woods, who is probably the greatest golfer, probably Jack Nicklaus, but you look at Tiger, had the hottest streak ever, was on track to shatter every record, the greatest golfer of all time, lost track with his work ethic, lost track with his mental awareness, with his physical awareness, and he had gained the edge by being one of the first golfers to start working out and get in shape. And he let these things lapse, and he starts working less. He starts getting distracted, and all of a sudden he's having drug problems and alcohol problems and getting divorced, and his career is a mess. And it's awesome to see him come back. He did come back. He got that Masters win, but outside of that, he hasn't really done a darn thing. So it's understanding you've never actually made it, right? This is something you work with and work on forever.
It's one of those things, too, where people say, oh, everybody seems to have this mindset. You see this popular on Instagram, this idea of when I finally make it, and this idea I'm going to retire on the beach. And the reality of the situation is most of us celebrate too early. We think we've arrived. We think we've accomplished it. We think that we become a champion, or maybe you did become a champion. You did something really good. You had a great year, and then the next year you take your foot off of the pedal. You take a significant amount of time off. You're not focused. Your work ethic goes down. Your leadership goes down. Your team sees your lack of focus and effort and everything. And a year later, you're like, wow, my business is at 70% of what it was last year. I wonder what happened. Well, you took your foot off the pedal and everything changed. You have to keep pushing. And if you have this idea that you're just going to retire on a beach someday, most people that do retire end up dying very quickly within 5 years of retirement, and it gets very boring thinking that you're going to do that. And so becoming a champion is, and you look at the way Tom Brady played year after year after year, some guys get that one Super Bowl and then they kind of relax, but he kept on pushing, and that's what great leaders do, and they have that work ethic and that commitment. Right, guys.
I think that's the biggest thing. Number 10 there, Leo, is commitment.
Yes.
Like, champions do what they say they are going to do. Despite all the haters, the people that don't believe them, champions do exactly what they say they're going to do, and you see that time in and time out. And that's where, that's our biggest principle we've got on the wall. We've got it for everyone on their own little cards. Do what you say you're going to do, but because it starts with the little things. If you say, I'm going to take my dogs on a walk, you better take your dogs on a walk, because it starts there. You build habits. Being committed to something absolutely is a habit. And so that's probably the biggest thing. Number 10, commitment, is what I see in champions.
And you're doing the extra thing. You're not just going to the regular practices. You're the first one there, last one to leave. Great. Everybody works hard in practice probably. But you're doing the extra stuff outside of practice. You're doing the extra film study, the extra work. If you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, you're not just worried about your business and working on it during regular business hours. On the weekends, you're reading the books, you're listening to the podcast, you're doing the extra research and homework about your business, about your craft, and you're continuously improving it. You're improving your leadership. You're out strategizing. At some point, you've got the work ethic, but you've got to keep on out improving. You've got to keep on strategizing. And if you add the improvements and the strategies to the work ethic, then that's how you keep on getting better, like a Tom Brady, like a Michael Jordan, and that only comes with commitment.